This is Sexy Funny Raw, where we talk all about the world of sex, from dating and relationships to the adult industry itself, answering all the questions you weren't even brave enough to ask Google. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Sexy Funny Raw. I am your host, Silvia Saige, and joined virtually with me today is a very interesting guest who has sold over $20 million in sex toys, ladies and gentlemen. She is a sales marketing genius. Please welcome to the show, Sonny.
Hi there. Thank you so much for having me. I do have to say the $20 million figure, we got to remember that I've been doing this for a very long time. So it's not like that happened overnight, but yes.
Still, it's a very impressive.
Yeah.
So how does one get into the world of sex toys? Please enlighten us.
So my trajectory to getting into this industry was really interesting and not something I expected. I did a double major in college in both theater and education studies. I spent a bunch of time working in the education programs department in a museum. So I was actually working with like education and like childcare and things like that. And then when I graduated from college, I was like, I'm really sick of doing this like kid-focused work. I have all this museum experience. Where do I go? What am I going to do? There is a museum of sex in New York City where I live. I got a job there just, selling tickets and souvenirs in the gift shop for minimum wage. Thought I'd do it for a little while I maybe plan to go to grad school or something like that. But I was already pretty familiar with sex toys and stuff just from my own personal life and interests and being queer and young and living in New York. But I was pretty good at selling them in the retail store. So I worked my way up to doing the purchasing for that store. And then from there, I made all kinds of contacts with manufacturers and vendors and other retailers. And when I was 24, I got offered a position as a sales manager for a pretty large European sex toy manufacturer where I worked for 10 years. And I just recently started with a new company. So yeah, all in all, I've been in the industry for about 14 years now.
I love it. Yeah. Immediately, just sex world to sex world to sex world. And so I also didn't know that the Museum of Sex sold sex toys, because we also have one here in LA and I've been to one in Amsterdam. But they were both really just kind of telling you the history of sex. But you also had sex toys at your location?
Yes. So the one in LA, the one in Amsterdam, the one in New York, those are all separate, right? They're not affiliated with each other. The one in New York has a second location that just opened in Miami. So those two, I'm unfamiliar with other ones around the world that people have opened, but they do have a really beautiful gift shop on the first floor of the New York location where I worked for 3.5, 4 years. Yes. Okay. I was doing a lot of, I'm selling products to customers, but I'm also doing merchandising and inventory and all of the things that go along with retail. But I happen to be doing it with dildos.
Yeah. No, I love it. So how would you tell people what's best for them? Like, what questions would you ask to find out what toy would be best for them?
Totally. I get asked this question all the time, and people often frame it more as what's the best thing? Like, tell me what the best product is. Tell me what I should get. And I think that that's a really, that's not the way that people should be approaching how they shop for their toys, right? I think the first thing that I always ask people is, is this going to be for internal stimulation or external stimulation? Do you want it to be able to do both? Do you really like light pressure or firmer pressure? So just thinking about the ways that they already like to touch their body or to have a partner touch their body and stimulate their body. And then you can kind of go down the route of, okay, so if you're looking for something for external stimulation, do you need a lot of power, or are you super sensitive and you want something that's going to give that's a little bit lighter or a little bit easier to kind of gauge the intensity of the product. So yeah, I think really just getting people into that mode of like, what do you already like, or what things are you looking to explore? And then kind of following down those different pathways that can take. That's definitely my approach when it comes to that kind of thing.
Yeah. Do you feel like most people have an idea of what they're looking for when they get to you? Or do you feel like most people are kind of walking in completely blind and looking for you to walk them through it?
Yeah, a little bit of both.
Mm-hmm.
I do think that a lot of people, especially in the day and age of social media and advertising and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that, there are several types of products that have like gone viral, and
Yeah.
a lot of people come into the experience of purchasing a toy where they think because they saw a TikTok video or because, there's some article that they saw that's really just like paid advertising
Mm-hmm.
telling them, oh, this thing, it like blew my brains out. Like I'm never going to
Mm-hmm.
need to be with a partner ever again. They just assume that that thing is going to be perfect for them too.
Yeah.
I think it's really important to like break down those preconceived notions that people have.
Mm.
There certainly are things that are universally beloved for a reason.
Yeah.
I'll say this right now. I don't work for them. I'm not affiliated with them. I am a magic wand evangelist. Everybody knows the magic wand is a
We
classic.
pray to the magic
We
wand.
praise
Yeah.
her in this household. Yes. But that might not be the best thing for everybody. There's a
Yeah.
reason why it's so popular, and there's a reason why people come in asking for it by name.
Mm-hmm.
But there are so many options out there, and I think that breaking down those preconceived notions or those like kind of blocks that people have built up already, you want to start at square one and just think about you and your body and what you enjoy, or what you are looking to try more of, basically,
Yeah.
before jumping into like definitely get this thing, or people coming in knowing that they definitely want to grab that thing that they heard about on the internet, basically. Yeah.
Yeah. I think we all as women know the magic wand is magic for a reason.
And it's great for
Mm-hmm.
everyone.
Oh, it is.
That's
Yeah.
what's so awesome about wands in general, is that you
Mm-hmm.
can use that at like any part of the body. They feel amazing,
Mm-hmm.
and anywhere physically. You can do this really cool technique, which is called pleasure mapping with wands, which I really like wands for that purpose, because they're so versatile. They've got that broad head, and just kind of like placing it on different parts of your body, not just,
Mm-hmm.
like erogenous zones, areas that we think of immediately when we think of masturbation or pleasure,
Mm-hmm.
but literally anywhere on the body, and seeing how that feels, how you respond mentally, physically, all of it. And anybody can do it. It doesn't matter gender,
Yeah.
sexuality, anything. Yeah, wands are the
I
best.
I was gonna say, anytime I'm with a male partner and I bring out my wand, which is most of the time because I like a lot of stimulation. So I'll bring it out to use on my clit. And usually when I'm done coming, I'm like, oh, we're done. And almost every time my counterpart goes, no, 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 bring that back.
Bring
I
that
really
back.
like that. Yeah. I'm like, oh, you just want the vibration for you. Yeah, you're into it. So
Yeah.
so it is. It's for everybody toy. So yeah, I was gonna say, what's the best selling toy? But that's probably a pretty big
It's
number
up there
one.
for sure. And like I said, it's a classic for a reason. It's been around
Yeah.
forever. But it's interesting. Like, I think that we see trends with sex toys the same way you
Yeah.
see with clothing, with food, with all kinds of
Mm-hmm.
different things. Definitely in recent years, I've seen a huge increase in sales and in customer interest in products for people with penises,
Mm-hmm.
especially ones that are designed, that are better designed, better made, higher quality products than maybe people are used to seeing or have seen in the past.
Mm-hmm.
So really interesting developments in terms of technology when it comes to strokers, or even partner play products that can be used by both folks, whether it's a man and a woman or whatever combination of genders. I mean, like, talking about wands, my current company, we make something that is called the MAN wand. We've got
Oh.
like a broad wand style head on this side, but then
Yeah.
we also got this curved area that can be used for stroking, or it's really
I
great for frenulum stimulation. So stimulating that area on the underside of the head,
yeah.
the nerve endings are, that's a really sensitive spot. The frenulum and the clitoris, anatomically, they're really similar, right? So a
Mm-hmm.
frenulum based orgasm can feel really similar to what a clitoral orgasm feels like with
Mm.
vulvas. But even so, like this, placing it around a shaft during penetration, both people are going to be able to feel it. Those winged tips get really fluttery and they get vibration. That's going to feel awesome on nipples or
Yeah.
on a vulva. So yeah, I've seen a lot of like versatile toys, but toys that really take penis stimulation into account. That's been a big
Yeah.
uptick
I've
recently.
never seen that one. I
Yeah,
love
it's super
that.
cool. Super, super cool. And you don't have to maintain an erection in order to use this. So people who
Mm.
experience, erectile dysfunction, or maybe they have various, if they have less mobility of their upper bodies, much easier and accessible to use something like this than like a stroker sleeve that you're having to
Yeah.
really move back and forth. Yeah.
No, that's brilliant. I
Mhm.
love that. I feel like you guys are the first company to make that. I've never seen that.
There are other similar products
Oh,
out
there
there.
are?
We,
Okay.
we originally introduced this one in 2018, I want to say. This is the
Mm.
upgraded version that we just released last year. But there are similar ones. There are also attachments that you can buy for something like the Magic Wand, so a sleeve that goes over it to create like a stroker or a vibrating kind
Mm.
of sleeve. But yeah, ours is pretty cool. I'm a fan.
No, it's fantastic. Yeah. What would you say that the biggest toy flop is? Like
Oh
something that was
gosh.
expected to do great and didn't.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, does it have to be something that was expected to do
No, no,
great?
no, no, just a
Okay.
flop.
I actually am super prepared for this. It's sitting next to me
Yes.
because not only do I work for a manufacturer, I sell sex toys, I have a lot of them, but I don't just collect toys that I want to use. I also, if something's like really weird, I
Hmm.
have to have it
Right.
just to have it. Like I would
Yes.
say that I can have it. And I truly like I want to preface this by saying I'm all for like new companies coming into the market, people who have ideas, people like creating something new and different and like taking a risk in that regard. So like it's all love and respect from me to the folks who created this item. But a few years ago, there was a product that came out and it is called the Teddy Love.
Oh,
And
oh,
it is a stuffed bear with an ABS plastic snout. I've had mine for a while. Its batteries are dead, but this part with the tongue sticking out vibrates. And
wow.
it's just truly bonkers. I have him on my headboard all the time. So yeah, he sits on my headboard with a little 80s photo book that I found called The Joys of Masturbation. And that's part of my decor in my room just because I think he's so funny.
That is,
Weird.
yeah. Yeah. I guess if you have a furry thing, if
Sure.
you're
Or
into
like
furries.
honestly, like consensual, like age play type stuff, like
Yeah.
I can see the
Yeah.
applications, I guess. But
Yeah.
like, yeah, and it was marketed as being like, oh, it's so discreet. It doesn't look like a vibrator. And I'm like,
It's not discreet.
but it's
Yeah.
also weird for a grown adult to be going around with a giant stuffed bear.
Yes.
It's not
Yes.
like what do we like?
Yes.
So yeah, things like that. Like I said, it's all love and respect from me to the folks who go out on a limb and try to create something
Hmm.
totally different and
Hmm.
off the wall. That one for me, I was just like, oh, what are we doing here? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, speaking of giant shocks, what
Yes.
would you say is the biggest shock in like demographics of people who come in to buy sex toys?
Totally. And I will say, so it's been a little while since I've actually been working in
Oh, okay.
sale and like selling to end consumers. My day to day is for the last 10 and a half years of my life is I work for a manufacturer and
Okay.
I sell to the retail stores who then
Got
sell
it.
to the end consumer.
Okay.
At the same time, I'm out in the field visiting stores, training staff, talking with folks who are doing that work. And what I will say is that a lot of especially in the US, a lot of the locations that people would immediately assume are like the most conservative and the most sex negative and like really like would stay away from this type of stuff. A lot of times that's where like the freakiest stuff is getting purchased. So I think there's something to be said for, people kind of stifling their desires when they feel like they can't express them openly, then they still are going to figure out ways to engage with that stuff. So that's why I'm
Yeah.
actually really happy that we have so many amazing brick and mortar sex shops in the US. The people who work in those stores are really like, shout out to them. They're on the front lines doing amazing work for their communities, whether that's, somebody coming in and educating them about safer sex practices or barriers, or what the right type of lubricant is to use. People are so lube averse.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, like they're like ashamed or feel like if their partner needs lube, then they're not doing something
Oh,
great. It's like, no, dude, like this
no.
will make everything better.
Yes.
So all of those folks who are working the front lines in sex shops, shout out to you. You're amazing, and they're really doing great work to educate people every day.
But different types of lube really do matter, and people
Oh
don't
yeah,
understand that.
massively so.
Yeah, and especially with the toys that you're using. A lot of the toys that you're using require a certain type of lube, and people don't know that either. So,
Yeah, super important if you're using silicone toys, which thankfully we've moved into a realm where most toys are being made out of body safe materials like medical grade silicone. Silicone toys, you want to stick to water-based
yeah.
lube with
Yeah.
those. There is some, there are some folks out there who will say certain silicone lubricants are fine. I think it's better to just stick to water-based because then you always know it's going to be compatible with whatever silicone toy you're using. Yeah.
Yeah. So this might be a question you might not know either since you're not exactly in the field, but I'm going to ask it anyway just to see. Do you feel like more straight heterosexual men are finding toys to stimulate their prostate, or do you still feel like they're kind of scared of heading down that path?
Yeah, I think more of them are maybe talking about it openly. I will say during the height of COVID lockdown in 2020, at my previous job, obviously people were buying more sex toys
Yeah.
than ever because we were all stuck in our houses. You couldn't spend money on vacation or going out to dinner or whatever. So it was like, all right, guess I'm gonna buy a new vibrator or a new dildo or whatever. But one of the product categories that we saw a massive spike in was anything that would be considered like a pegging toy.
Yeah.
So
Interesting.
like obviously other people are using, harnesses and dildos and things like that than just, straight couples engaging in pegging, but we did see a huge uptick in that product category. And I think that people were just like, desperate to try something new.
Yeah.
My current company, we do very, very well with our strapless strap-on toys. So products that can be worn to then penetrate a partner.
Wait, a strapless strap-on? Do you
So
have
something
that?
like this.
Oh.
Yeah. We have a couple of different models. This is our non-motorized version, and then this is one of our motorized versions. So it has a vibrating motor as well as a clitoral stimulator right
Love
here.
it.
But the company is called Strap-on Me, and what's really unique about ours is that they're really, really flexible.
So you could even put that in your ass if you wanted to.
This would be inserted vaginally.
Okay.
Then penetrating a partner with the front end.
Okay.
You could wear it anally. I don't think that it's quite long enough
Oh, okay.
to reach a partner successfully in that way. But they're easy. You can bend them and angle the cupping portion here. And then the new version without a motor inside of it, this can be curved as well. So you can customize the angle to whatever you want. It's not a real
Yeah.
tangent when we were supposed to be talking about if people are into prostate play, but
No, that I have never seen that either. I feel like
yeah.
you have so many great toys I've never even been privy to. Like
Mhm.
I love pegging men, but I hate a strap on because they're so like they're so constrictive and they keep falling down all the time. And I feel like I can't find cute ones, but that's amazing. And
Yeah.
I'm actually getting not that I don't get enjoyment out of it because I do get a lot
Yeah.
of
Oh,
mental
yeah.
enjoyment out of doing it. But
Trust me. I
yeah,
totally, I'm with you.
yeah. But it would be nice to be stimulated myself at the
Yeah,
same time.
sure.
That's
Yeah.
a
So like
brilliant toy.
this one, the company is called Strap On Me. This one is called the multi-orgasm because you have a
Yeah.
vibrating motor in the internal egg, you have a vibrating motor in the shaft, and then this portion here is like a little flickering tongue clit stim. So you can
Wow.
control all of them independently, and so you're going to get a lot of fun out of it too.
That is fabulous. I really hope you sent me one of those. If not, I
If
want
not,
one.
I will.
So, okay. How often are you gifting sex toys to friends? Or
All the time.
like, yeah, yeah,
Constantly.
yeah. You're the light in everyone's life. I want you to know
I
that, by
mean,
the way.
speaking of pegging, I actually have a friend who I recently like set up with their like my first pegging kit. I was like, they were like, this is something I want to try, and I was like, I have multiple unused harnesses. I was like, I
Yeah.
got you, and so I was just like,
Yeah.
here you go, the dildo fairy has arrived.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah, and when I moved out of my last apartment, I definitely had like a whole box of like unused stuff that I didn't need anymore. And so I just invited people over and said, like, go for it, take whatever you want. Yeah.
I'm sure you have the happiest friends around. Do you ever have awkward moments though with strangers or with like, family or friends, like telling them what you do?
Yeah, I mean, not really. Family, absolutely not. My family
Okay.
is super, super supportive. When I first got into this industry, my mom literally could not wait to go out and tell everybody what I was doing for a living. My family is super, super supportive.
Good.
Same with my friends. Like if they weren't supportive of it or it freaked them out, then they wouldn't be my friends to begin with because I don't think we'd probably really get along on many levels. It can be a little bit weird when first starting to like date or something like that, just because people take it in different ways, right? Like it can be a situation where they're really intimidated by it. Or it can be a situation where they just automatically assume that like I'm super freaky and I'm down to do whatever, like whenever, wherever, with whoever. And I'm like, no, I actually have like boundaries and there's stuff I like and stuff I don't. And you can't make assumptions about what I'm willing to do or whatever just because I have a, sexy job.
Yeah.
But overall, I guess maybe sometimes if I'm like in a Uber or something like that, and the driver is asking me lots of questions, and I'm like, do I really want to be trapped in this car with a
Yeah.
stranger, like talking about sex toys? But you learn how to navigate it. You learn how to kind of answer questions in ways that leave you room to get out of the scenario if you if you feel the
Yeah.
need. Yeah.
Yeah. Totally get that. So how quickly do you then in a relationship of your own, how quickly are you introducing toys into your sex life?
Yeah, that's a great question. I would say for me, I mean, it's all about anything like that. It's all about communication, right? I'm not just gonna like the first time I sleep with somebody immediately assume that it's fine for me to like pull out a bunch of stuff and say we're gonna go to town. I definitely like to connect physically with a partner without toys initially, but also it's not out of the question that the vibrator is going to come out to finish me off at the end if it needs to. So I would say I'm open to whatever speed they're open to, as long as it's something that they're aware is a big part of my life and my sexuality and like how I engage with my body, right? So if
Yeah.
we need to take it slower, that's fine. It just needs to be something that we kind of figure out together and doesn't get like, if anybody were to be like, oh, well, I'm really uncomfortable with you using any kind of toys whatsoever, I'd be like, well, then you're not for me. Sorry.
Yeah.
Have a great
Yeah.
life. But
I would have the same response. Yeah. I think it is important to connect with them one-on-one first as well. I'm the same way, even though I also love toys and I do want them incorporated in my sex life. And I agree with you, even if towards the end I'm like, I'm gonna just reach in this drawer real quick, but I think it's a slow introduction. You're right. You have to have the conversations to make everybody comfortable and know what's about to come out, and and I like opening people up to things, and I love learning new things, which is why I'm so intrigued by the toys you have here. Like I'm constantly asking my partner what they're into and what levels we can reach or breach together, So, no. Excellent. Excellent. What kind of pushback are you getting on social media when you're trying to promote?
Yeah, so that's a great question. I personally don't have a ton of my own direct experience with it since I'm
Okay.
mostly on the sales side of things, rather doing like boring spreadsheets and stuff like that. I don't handle a lot of the like social media and marketing stuff, but it's very, very well known in the adult toy industry that accounts are, it's very easy for an account for a retailer or for a toy brand to get shadow banned. You can only post certain types of images, also images that say a sex shop or a adult toy manufacturer posts, even if like an influencer in a bikini posted the same exact
Right.
type of picture, our accounts and our marketing is more frequently flagged than a lot of other types of accounts are, right? So it's all of these platforms are figuring out all of these sneaky backdoor ways to really make it more difficult for adult toy content to even be promoted to end users.
Yeah.
Or like I think about like on Facebook, there are companies that are advertising like erectile pills that can run their ads no problem. But the minute someone wants to run an ad with a vibrator in it, it's like, no, 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 no. So, yeah, it's definitely been interesting seeing over the last few years how different brands are able to navigate that, and really still get our products out there, get the education out there for our customers, allow our customers to like engage with us in ways that they're looking to without getting just like everything shut down. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I will say, like, it's a great thing that it's now available online, because obviously there was a lot of shame about just going into a sex store and coming out with a sex toy, and people, always felt very awkward doing that. I loved when I saw that, like, sites like Amazon or TikTok were putting out sex toys. Obviously, they're having to label them as different things, as personal massagers or, a couple's pillow, things like that, So I think it's very silly that we're even marketing them that way. I think if we could just put like a over 18 only, just like the type of things that we do with pornography, like over 18 to enter into, to buy these types of things. But I love that there is more accessibility, but you're right. I hate that it's still so limited, so hidden, so name changed, just not letting it be what it is. So,
yeah. And then the other thing that's been happening that's very much in the forefront of people's minds recently is all of the states that are now passing the age verification laws. And the way that they've written the bills, people assume that it's all about online pornography, right? So like initially in their mind, they're like, oh, what's bad about making it difficult for people under 18 to access online pornography? But the bills are written in ways that could absolutely apply to an online sex shop. And so once you get into that realm, it's like, okay, so every online adult retailer who's selling vibrators has to figure out a way for people to upload their ID in order to even shop for lingerie. Like it could really go in lots of different directions. That's been a big topic of conversation amongst folks who work in sex toys and stuff like that. Yeah.
yeah. no, it's doing a number on our industry as well. Everybody has taken a big, huge hit now that Texas and Florida are out, because you're right. And those most conservative places is where we are making the most amount of money. So taking those away from us, I think everybody in the industry has felt a hit, you know? We are almost out of time here, Sonny. So I'm going to ask one last question. What, if any, are the biggest misconceptions about the sex toy industry that you wish you could debunk once and for all?
I think the main kind of misconception that people have is that it's all super, I don't know, I guess like seedy is the right word for it. So people, I think if they haven't had a lot of experience with, you know, shopping for these products or like engaging with them, their image of the adult toy industry is like, you know, store with no windows on the side of the road with like, you know, just like having a lot of shame associated with it. Whereas I kind of brought this up a little bit when I was talking about, you know, how the folks who work in adult retail stores are like doing great work out there educating people, but it's really like I've seen really beautiful moments of like human connection and development and like people like learning about themselves and expressing things that they never felt safe or comfortable doing, just like in the space of a sex shop. So this is really a world where the stores, the people working in them, the people making the products themselves are like a really beautiful way for people to get engaged with their bodies and their pleasure and like open themselves up to like understanding themselves, not only just from like, how do I orgasm, but also like, how do I express my gender? Like what types of things am I trying to get out of my sexual relationship with my partner or partners or whatever the case may be. So I think there's a really kind of like soft, loving, caring heart at the center of everything that we do, which is really, really amazing. Yeah.
I 100% agree with that. I think the sex community in general, whether it be sex toys, dominatrix, sex clubs, porn, any of that sex world where sex is very open and communicative, I feel like those are the safest group of people I have ever been around, where I feel the most comforted, where I feel the least bit of judgment. You know, it's such safe places when people can really let down their own shame around sex and really step into it. It is such a beautiful place. So you're so right. I really wish more people knew what a beautiful, loving community the sex world really is. So
yeah, for sure. I think I think it's probably my number one.
Yeah. Thank you for saying that.
Yeah.
Okay. We are out of time, Sonny. So if you want to tell the people where they can find you, where they can find your products, because obviously you have some amazing ones. I've learned so many things and I can't wait to try them out myself. So tell them where they can find it.
Yeah, for sure. So the company I work for, we are called Lovely Planet. We are a French company manufacturing a few different lines of products. So the best way to find us is to go to each of our individual brand websites. So our brands are going to be MAN.WAN, MANWAN. That was the stroker wand frenulum stimulator I showed before.
I want that.
We also have Strap On Me. So Strap On Me is all of our strapless strap-ons, as well as really gorgeous harnesses and dildos and things like that. We also have a brand called Dorcel. And then our last one is super fun. It is a brand called Love to Love. So vibes, dildos, super colorful body products, games. Those are all of our different lines. Please check us out. We've got a little bit of something for everybody.
Yeah, I cannot wait to check it out. Thank you so much for coming and doing this. Thank you for showing us these amazing new products. And hopefully everybody goes and takes a look at them. And thanks for being here.
Thanks so much. Thanks so much for having me. Take care.
All right. And if you guys like what you saw today, go ahead and click that subscribe button. And until next time, adios.